Everyone, welcome to the next video in our Directus playlist. And in this video, we will go and further read, I would say, more about the access policies, and we will see that how we could customize our access policies in more depth, right? By using item level permissions as well as field level permissions, right? And these are the two best options which are available in Directus that will help you to build custom use cases based on your rules, right? So in the previous section, we saw that how we could, build all those access policies and then we can assign all those access policies to our end users, right? But today we will go and in depth, we will see that how we could, analyze, or I would say allow some custom logic on these access policies, right? By using all those item level permissions as well as field level permissions, right? So let's take a scenario. Let's come over here and let's create a new access policy, right? And let's call it as policy. Okay, this policy for, let's say, end users, right? And let's select this as, I'm allowing the access to data studio as well. And let's save this, right? And now you can change the name description, but I will leave it as it is. And let's move on, right? Now, here you can see that we are having some pre-built permissions already, which are allowed, right? And the one which are completely yellow means that you have allowed all the access, but the one which are having a lighter yellow background, this is where you have went for this used custom option, right? And today we will be exploring this custom option, that how with the help of this custom option you can restrict some of the use cases, right? So now without time wasting, let's select a collection and let's go with the to-dos collection, right? And now I want everyone to read the to-dos, right? But with some custom use case, right? And this is where I would say you could, build attribute based access control and directives, right? In which you will not be allowing all the attribute to be seen, but rather you will restrict some of the attributes, right? And this is where this custom options, I would say, comes into the picture, right? Now, if you select on this and go for use custom, and then here you can see that you're having this field level permissions in which you can define what fields you are allowing to be read and what fields you are denying, right? So if you select on this field level permissions, let's say I want all the fields to be displayed except from description, image, and status, right? So I'm not allowing this field to be visible to this access policy, right? So once you save this thing, and when you come on and assign this policy to your end user, so let's go to our users. Let's select this John Doe user, right? And now let's assign this policy to this user. So let's add existing and let's say policy for end users and let's save this, right? Now, once you save this thing, this John Doe can only read the title and system fields of to-dos collection, but not the rest of the one, right? So if you sign out from here and let's log in with our famous John at the rate test.com. Sorry, not this one, but it's test.com. And then with the admin user, the admin password, sorry. And now you can see that we are having the access to our to-dos collection and we are only being presented with the title attribute right over here. Okay. And even if you go on and, want to add the other attributes, you can see that those other attributes are not listed because we have restricted them by using that access based sorry, not access based, but attribute based access control, right? And this is how it works, right? And again, you can go on and implement a lot more use cases depending on your, I would say, business rules, right? So now let's, I would say, sign out from here and let's go back to our admin user, which is admin at the rate example.com. And the password is also admin. Let's sign in, right? Now, this is one way in which you can, I would say, implement that attribute-based access control with the help of those access policies, custom use case, right? And there is another option or another scenario in which you can utilize, I would say, item level permissions to implement some of the custom business access policies, right? Let me explain that by giving you a scenario, right? So if you come to our content section, you can say these are our posts, right? And let me just delete this from here. We don't want any posts right now, but let's see if you're creating some posts right over here. Now in a normal social media application, we do have a use case in which anyone can read all the posts, anyone can view all the posts, anyone can create the post, right? But when it comes to updating and deleting the post, so the user can only update and delete its own post, right? There is no any option available in social media applications in which you can go and update or delete any other post, right, which was created by any other user, right? So for implementing this use case, you can utilize the item level permissions of, I would say, those access policies built into the Directus Data Studio, right? So let's go back. I don't want any post for now. So let's go to our settings. Let's go to our access policies. Let's select this one, right? Which we have currently created, right? Now let's select our, I would say, post collection right over here. And now what we need is we want everyone to create the post, right? And we want everyone to read all the posts as well. So this is the to-dos. Well, let me just remove the to-dos for now. So we are targeting our post collection, right? So we want everyone to create all the posts. We want everyone to read all the posts. But when it comes to update and delete, this is where we have to be a little careful, right? Because we don't want the users to go and update and delete the other post of the other users, right? So now this is where this custom use case comes into the picture. So you can click on use custom, and then you have to go with this option, which is item level permissions, right? And here you can provide a rule, and based on this rule, you are allowing and disallowing the user to perform that update operation on this post collection, right? So now the rule is simple, right? We will go and add a filter, and let's say this time our filter will be if the user created, and let's find the ID option over here. User created dot ID is equals to, let's say, dollar current underscore user dot id, right? Now you might be confused that where this dollar current underscore user is coming from. So this is, I would say, a dynamic variable provided by the Directus team, which will give you the current user information who is performing this option, right? And this will be replaced at runtime with that current user object or data who is performing that update option operation, right? You can further go and read more about on in this Directus docs into this auth section in this access control option right over here. Okay, in this access control, if you scroll down to this combining multiple, I would say, filters and implementing all those field level and item level rules, you can go and read out all these, I would say, options over here. Okay, but just remember that this is a dynamic variable which will be replaced at runtime by the current user who is performing that operation, right? Now, this is the rule is set, right? The rule is simply explaining that if the user created ID gets equal to the current user ID, then only allow to update the record. Otherwise, don't allow it, right? And before going on, you have to just click on the field permissions and you have to select all the fields which you want the users to get updated, right? So let me select all the fields for now because I want the user to update all the fields, right? So once you save this thing, your rule is ready. And now I want the same customization based on our delete operation as well, right? So we click on delete. Let's select use custom, and here you can provide the same rule. So it will be user created, and let's search for that ID, which will be equals to dollar current user dot id, right? And let's save this thing, right? And once you have your access policy ready, just save it and assign to your end users and see the magic happening, right? Now, if you come to our, I would say, user section, we have already assigned the access policy to John Doe. You can see over here. And now let's say go with our Asad Javed user. I have created this user before the video, and I will be assigning this access policy to this as well, right? So let's go with add existing and let's select policy for end users, and let's save this over here and let's save it, right? Now we are having two users. One is Asad Javed, second one is John Doe, who are having the access to the same access policy which we are working with right now. Okay. So now let's sign out from here. And before signing out, let's go to our, I would say, content section and let's see our post, right? Right now, we are not having any post over here. You can see that, right? Now, if you sign out from here, let's sign out and let's log in with our, let's say, John at the rate test.com, and let's password is admin and let's sign in, right? And now when we come to our this, let me just close this, come to our this content section here, you can see that we are having the access to our post collection right over here. Okay, so we can create it, right? So let's create a post and let's say post created by John, right? And this is the description. Okay, and let's save this right over here. Okay, now since, let me just bring the title first, the body a little bit bigger from here, and yeah, we're good to go, right? So this is basically the post which was created by John, right? So if it is created by John, obviously John can click on this record, can delete it, right, if they want to, and can even edit it, right? And that's what we have built that scenario for, right? So if you click on this thing, you can see that I can even update the record over here. Okay, it's updated. Let's save this thing, and you can see the record is being updated, right? And the reason it is allowing me is because this post was created by me. That's why it is giving me permission to update it and delete it, right? But if you log out from here and you go with that Asad, I would say, user, which is asad@test.com, and the password is obviously the admin. And if you sign in, you can see that we are being presented with the same post right over here, okay, and which is having, I would say, title and all that stuff, right? But here the issue will be, if you click on this thing, you can see that I can neither update this record, okay, there is no option to update it, and neither I can delete the post right over. If you click on this delete and just delete it, you can see that it is restricting you, because this post was not created by that asset user, right? It was created by John user, so it is not allowing for deleting as well as that updating the record, right? And the use case is working fine for now. Now if I create, let's say, a new post over here, so let's call it as, let's say, post for, let's say, user which was asset, and let's say this is test for now, okay. And if you save this thing, now this was the post which was created by that Asad Javed user right over here, okay. And if you click on this, you can see that you can delete this post as well, and you can even edit it, right? So if you click on this one, you can come over here, you can say update it and update it, okay, and you can save this, and you can see that record is also being updated right over here, okay. Now you can also delete this one. If you click on this, you can delete it and it will be get deleted right over here, okay. So let's create the post again for now. So let's say post for, let's say, Asad user. Let's keep the description as same, and let's save this thing. So everything is working as per defined our business rules, right? So everything is working fine for now. And if you sign out from here, go back and log in with that John user, which is john@test.com, and let's log in with the passport admin. Let's sign in. And now here you can see that we are having that post, which is visible right over here, which was created that by that asset user right over here. And now if you really want to delete this post over here and just click on delete, you can see that it is restricting you. And the reason is very simple, because this post was created by that asset user, right? And right now you are John. So if you're John, you cannot go and delete any other user's post, right? And same goes with the update one as well. So if you click on over here, you can see that it is not allowing me to update this post as well, right? So this is, I would say, the option of item level permissions, by which you can go and customize your access policies based on your business use cases, right? And this is what makes Directus so much, I would say, fun working with, right? So yeah, I guess that's it from now. You can go and further, read the documentation regarding this access control in Directus Docs. You can just come to Directus Docs and just go into auth section and go to access control. This is where all the documentation related to those access policies has been written, right? And you can go and further read it. And it's worth the try, I would say. You have to read it, because once you read this, you will see that how much powerful Directus is by implementing all those, I would say, access policies, right? So yeah, that's it from this video. In the coming on videos, we will go and further, see, by which I would say we will be using the roles section in the Directus Data Studio, in which we'll go on and see that would use that roles option and build that thing in Directus Data Studio, which is RBAC model, which is a role-based access control, right? So see you in the next video.